Hello students. Topic for today is histology of respiratory system. Now this respiratory system is made up of two parts. One is the conducting part and another is the respiratory part. The conducting part, it consists of passages or tubes that conduct the air to and from the lungs for the gaseous exchange. Whereas the respiratory part, it consists of passages which participates in the gaseous exchange. The conducting part, it conducts the air to the respiratory portion of the lung. It is mainly supported by hyaline cartilage, which is C-shaped in trachea and is replaced by the cartilaginous plates as the bronchus divides, and finally these cartilaginous plates disappears. This conducting part has two parts. One is extrapulmonary part and the intrapulmonary part. The extrapulmonary part, it consists of nasal cavities, paranasal sinuses, nasopharynx, larynx, trachea and principal bronchi. The intrapulmonary part, it consists of lobar bronchi, segmental or tertiary bronchi and terminal bronchioles. The respiratory part, it consists of passages which not only conduct the air but also participate in the gaseous exchange. The last part of conducting part, that is terminal bronchiole, it gave rise to the respiratory bronchioles. These respiratory bronchioles further divide to give rise to the alveolar ducts, alveolar sacs and alveoli. These alveoli are the actual site of gaseous exchange. So the bronchial tree, it starts from the larynx. It starts from the larynx and continues as the trachea which divides into two principal bronchus or the primary bronchus. These principal bronchus, they divide into the secondary or lobar bronchus, which further divide into the segmental bronchus. These segmental bronchus divide to the terminal bronchioles. Now these terminal bronchiole further divides into respiratory bronchiole, which divides to the alveolar ducts, alveolar sac and alveoli. The general features of conducting part. The conducting part, it is mainly made up of four layers. The mucosa, second layer is submucosa, third layer is cartilage or smooth muscle layer, and the fourth layer is adventitia. Now this mucosa, it has further two layers. Towards the luminal side, it is lined by the lining epithelium. The lining epithelium in the conducting part is pseudostratified squamous ciliated columnar epithelium along with the goblet cells. Deeper to the lining epithelium, next layer is the lamina propria. Now this lamina propria, it is mainly occupied by the connective tissue fibers, blood capillaries, macrophages and lymphocytes. In the submucosal layer, we have some seromucous glands. These seromucous glands, they secrete their secretions and their ducts, they passes through the lamina propria and the lining epithelium and they open into the lumen. The third layer is cartilage or smooth muscle layer. The third layer is cartilaginous plate. Now this cartilaginous plate is formed by the hyaline cartilage which forms the C-shaped rings in the trachea, and these C-shaped rings, they changes into the plates or cartilaginous plates as the bronchus divides into the next generations. The outermost layer is the adventitia. This is mainly formed by the fibroelastic connective tissue, and this layer, it provides the passages for the blood vessels and the nerve endings. Histology of epiglottis. Epiglottis is a leaf-like structure which forms the anterior wall of larynx, and this epiglottis, it presents two surfaces. One surface towards the oral cavity, that surface is known as the lingual surface. That lingual surface, it is lined by the oral epithelium, that is stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. This area is covered by the or lined by the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. The surface of the epiglottis, which faces towards the larynx, that is the lower portion of the posterior surface, that is lined by the laryngeal epithelium, that is pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. The skeletal framework of epiglottis, that is formed by the elastic cartilage. This is the histological section of the epiglottis. In this section, this is the lingual surface, which is lined by a stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, as we can see in the higher magnification. This is the laryngeal surface, which is lined by the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Deeper to it, we have the lamina propria. Now the lamina propria towards the lingual surface, it is occupied by the connective tissue fibers, blood vessels, nerve endings. Along with these structures, it may have lymphatic nodules or lymphatic aggregations towards the lingual surface. Whereas lamina propria towards the laryngeal surface, it shows some seromucous glands. Deeper to the lamina propria, the main skeletal framework of the epiglottis, that is formed by the elastic cartilage, which shows the perichondrium and the elastic cartilage, and these are the chondrocytes of the elastic cartilage along with the elastic fibers. Histology of trachea. In the histology of trachea, we can see mucosa, submucosa, cartilaginous layer and adventitia. The mucosa, the lining epithelium, is pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. In higher magnification, we can see this is pseudostratified columnar epithelium with cilia, and along with these cells we can see some empty cells. These are the goblet cells. The lamina propria of the trachea, it is occupied by the connective tissue fibers and lymphatic tissue. Deep in the lamina propria, the elastic fibers, they give rise to one membrane there, that is known as elastic membrane. This elastic membrane, it separates the lamina propria from the submucosa. In the submucosa, the seromucous glands are seen. These are the seromucous glands. The ducts of these seromucous glands, they pass through the lamina propria and the lining epithelium, and finally they drain into the lumen. The cartilaginous layer of the trachea is mainly occupied by C-shaped cartilaginous rings made up of hyaline cartilage. The open ends of the C, they are connected to each other by the smooth muscle fibers forming the trachealis muscle. The lumen of the trachea is kept patent by these C-shaped cartilaginous rings of hyaline cartilage. Outer to these C-shaped cartilaginous rings, that is the adventitia. Now, this adventitia is mainly occupied by the nerve endings, blood vessels and adipose tissue. This is the schematic diagram of trachea, in which we can see this is lining epithelium, that is pseudostratified columnar epithelium along with goblet cells. This layer is lamina propria. The lamina propria, it presents the elastic membrane, which is not visible here. This is submucosa here. This is submucosa, which is characterized by the seromucous glands. The third layer is cartilaginous layer, which is occupied by the C-shaped hyaline cartilage. The outermost layer here, that is adventitia. This is the histological section of lung, showing the intrapulmonary bronchus here, along with pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, bronchiole, terminal bronchus, respiratory bronchiole, alveolar duct, alveolar sac, and alveoli. The intrapulmonary bronchus, it is lined by pseudostratified columnar ciliated epithelium with occasional goblet cells. Deeper to the lining epithelium is the lamina propria. In the lamina propria, the smooth muscle cells, they forms a one layer there, and this smooth muscle layer, it separates the lamina propria from the submucosa. The submucosal layer, it is occupied by the seromucous glands. These are the seromucous glands, and these seromucous glands, they secrete their secretions through the ducts into the lumen of the intrapulmonary bronchus. The third layer is cartilaginous layer. Now, this cartilaginous layer is occupied by the plates of hyaline cartilage. In between the plates of hyaline cartilage, the submucosa is continuous with the adventitia. The outermost layer is adventitia, which is occupied by the connective tissue fibers, blood vessels, nerve endings, and the small amount of adipose tissue. Terminal bronchus is the last part of conducting part. The lumen of terminal bronchus is 1 millimeter or less. This lumen is lined by simple columnar epithelium or simple cuboidal epithelium. Goblet cells are absent. The lamina propria, it shows well-developed smooth muscle layer. This well-developed smooth muscle layer, it gave rise to mucosal folds in the lumen. Seromucous glands are absent, cartilaginous plates are absent, and pulmonary artery accompanies the terminal bronchus can be seen. Next is respiratory bronchiole. Lining epithelium of the respiratory bronchiole is simple cuboidal, which is interrupted because of outpocketings for the alveoli. Smooth muscle lie just underneath the lining epithelium. Now, this respiratory bronchiole, it continues as the alveolar duct. Now, numerous alveoli or alveolar sacs opens into the alveolar duct. These are the alveolar sacs or the alveoli. An artery can be seen which accompanies the respiratory bronchiole, that is the pulmonary artery. Next is alveoli. These are the out pockets from the respiratory bronchiole or alveolar ducts or alveolar sacs. These alveoli are lined by the simple squamous epithelial cells. These simple squamous epithelial cells are known as the type 1 pneumocytes. Now, along with these simple squamous epithelial cells, we can see some cuboidal cells. These cuboidal cells are type 2 pneumocytes. Now, these type 2 pneumocytes, they secrete the surfactant. Along with these structures, we can see some multinucleated cells there. These are the macrophages or dust cells. Along with these pneumocytes and macrophages, there are some other structures. These are the capillaries. In the histology of respiratory system, the trachea, which divides into principal bronchus, which further divides into lobar bronchus, which divides to give rise to the segmental bronchus and then terminal bronchus, respiratory bronchus, alveolar ducts, alveolar sacs, and the alveoli. The features which change, these are the epithelium. which starts from the pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. The size of epithelium keeps on decreasing and finally it changed into the squamous epithelial cells. In the trachea, principal bronchus, lobar bronchus and the segmental bronchus goblet cells are seen, which are absent in the terminal bronchus. Ciliated cells, they are absent or they are not seen after the respiratory bronchioles. Glands can be seen up till the segmental bronchus. Hyaline cartilage, which is C-shaped in trachea, then it changed into the plates in the principal bronchus. Then the size and the number of plates keep on decreasing and finally it disappears as it reaches to the terminal bronchus. The smooth muscle which persists up till the alveolar duct. The elastic fibers are seen throughout the respiratory tract. Thank you.